Hello everyone and welcome to another high elo game of Age of Empires. Today you know you're getting old when daylight savings time wreaks havoc on your internal clock and you sit down an hour late to watch Nicov playing as the Bengalis in red take on Mr. Yo playing as the Malay in blue. Now while the players herd their herdables, explore their immediate surroundings and try to get their butts up to Feudal Age, will he discover the Rhino? Dum. Yes he does. Why don't we take a look at the Civ matchup that we are going to be watching today? Now, the Bengalis are an elephant civilization through and through. All Bengali elephant units take less bonus damage, are more resistant to conversion, and can be upgraded to attack 20% faster, which is amazing since the Bengalis do get fully upgraded battle elephants, siege elephants, and their elephant archers also benefit from Parthian tactics. Now, in addition to that, all Bengali melee cavalry do come with a small +2 attack bonus against skirmishers, which makes defending Feudal Age aggression a little bit easier. Now, in order to support these slow-moving units on the battlefield, all Bengali monks come with a huge +3/+3 armor boost, and their unique unit, the Ratha, is one of the most versatile but hated units in the game, being a chariot unit that can switch between ranged attacks and melee attacks, now coming with trample damage. Now, in order to support the Bengali army, every one of their town centers, these guys does spawn 2 villagers for free whenever the next age is reached, and their entire villager and monk population can be upgraded, enhanced, evolved, let's say, to take up 10% less population space. The way that works is each one of these villagers, each monk, takes up 0.9 population room instead of the usual 1. And so, if we're lucky enough to find ourselves in the super duper late game, perhaps we'll see Mahayana out of Nicov, and we'll see whether he uses all that extra space for more army or an even bigger economy. Now, pivoting to the south, we've got Mr. Yo playing as the Malay in blue, a naval civilization, but one that comes with a few late-game land features that are incredibly powerful. To start with, their battle elephants do become progressively cheaper, starting in Castle Age 30% off, and then 40% off in Imperial. They do get all infantry armor upgrades for free, so we'll take a look at the top right of our screen as our Malay advances through the ages. Think the way the Koreans get their archer armor upgrades for free, the Malay get that for their infantry. Now, they can also upgrade their militia line units to cost only food, no gold. And so while they don't actually get champions, this upgrade, when combined with supplies, does turn their two-handed swordsman into a fairly cheap trash unit that only costs 65 food. Lastly, to help them raid their economy, the economy of their opponent, the Malay can turn to their unique unit, the Karambit Warrior. This is an incredibly cheap, super fast, but overall kind of weak infantry unit that does only take up half of population space. So if you've got 10 of them, for example, you only take up 5 population space. Now, in order to help you get these late game features and upgrades and characteristics, bonuses, whatever you want to call them, as fast as possible, the Malay do advance to the next age 66% faster than normal, which means you can either rush your butt up to the next age, perhaps get your ass up to Imperial, start pumping out trebs while your opponent is still in Castle, or you can meander for a while, enjoy the game, watch a few trees, see some tumbleweeds roll by, and then, catch up to your opponent fairly quickly. Those are the 2 civilizations we've got before us, while the players both sitting at 17 villagers apiece. Loom for red, no loom for blue just yet. Why don't we take a look at the actual bases and see where they've spawned, as zebras, ostriches, and all manner of livestock have been pushed to the brink of extinction here by these hunters who are gathering them for their meat. Let's take a look at our Bengali base. This is about as open a base as you can get. A lot of forests, but they are pretty darn far from the town center. And look at this, an interesting location for a lumber camp. I thought maybe put it here, but no, he's choosing to go to the northern route. I wonder why. Is he planning a wall off this way? In any event, primary gold, not on the attack path, which is always good. Primary stone, and then additional resources, a little bit exposed. And by the way, speaking of exposed, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Look at how close these bases are, and look at this big open space in front of our Bengali base. Now, we saw this in a game recently with Mihai and Hera, and Mihai having a base that was open like this had a decision to make. Do I push into my opponent? Do I defend myself and try to wall this off? Or do I just make sure that my opponent can never actually reach me? And if you want to know what happens in that game, you're just going to have to watch that game. Sorry, no spoilers. Primary gold for our Malay, very exposed in the attack path, but with a forest which is something our Bengali doesn't have in the forward position, can easily wall this off with some houses and a barracks, as he is doing right now. Primary stone in the back. Forests in a bit of a better location, still pretty far away from the town center. So walling this map is not going to be easy at all, and it looks like Mr. Yo is heading in the complete wrong direction here, has explored the eastern part of the map. There is somebody, I forget the YouTube handle of this, I think he's a player, and he's somehow always able to predict the exact location of his opponent's base. Now, I'm not sure exactly how. I don't know if it's just, it's like one of those, you know, David Blaine tricks where it looks real and then it's revealed that it's actually like 3 different edited clips put together to make it look like it's a magic trick or not. But I don't know if it is or not, but in the 4 or 5 times that he posted on his YouTube channel, and I'm going to try to remember this, this person's name so I can post the link in the description below. He did manage to find where exactly his opponent is just by seeing where his opening base is, but I don't know how that's possible. These maps sometimes are not very easy to determine, not very easy to read, let's say, even for pro players like this. Look at Mr. Yo. He went the complete opposite, thinking that his opponent would be at the, you know, basically symmetrical location on the other side of the map, but nah, his opponent is sitting right on top of his head. And whether or not Mr. Yo wants that, paid for that, doesn't really matter. That is how the map generated, as he is now pushing into his opponent. He's, by the way, going to see that this is a completely open base, and so he's going to probably want to start aggressing against his opponent as quickly as he can. Populations are pretty much identical. Army compositions, pretty much identical, although nothing too surprising about that with the early feudal age. Once these militiamen die, generally there's just the standard units in feudal age, all of them of course countering each other, which makes the micros so much fun to watch. Mr. Yo is not leaving here. He might have overstayed his welcome with these 2 militias, and one goes down. Will the second get the spear? Will he? He does, before he ultimately pays the price. So a 2-for-1 get there for our Bengali, who is housed at 35. Is he building another house? Yes, he is, very, very slowly. And weird, interesting location, because once he completes this house, he's going to automatically move to the palisades, and then he's going to trap himself in here. So an interesting choice by aM.Nicov. Let's see if I'm right. Okay. And now he's going to complete that palisade in there. Now where's he going to go? Yeah, exactly. You played yourself, says DJ Khaled to that one villager, and then he has to, of course, he has to delete the palisade he built, but he doesn't care. That palisade wasn't really useful, that one, since he has a house and a palisade here already. Armies look like they are converging in the middle of the map. So on the whole, to complete the base review, these are 2 pretty gross bases for both players, not gonna lie. We've seen a lot of these spawned ugly bases, as it looks like Mr. Yo, with a few additional skirmishers, has managed to gun down yet another spearman. Oh, murder-suicide here, as these 2 units die in tandem. Romeo and Juliet spearman and horsey boy. Ooh, the javelins of the skirmishers miss for a while, but they don't miss there. So all of a sudden, a massive 33% kill count lead going to our Bengali with 4 kills to 3. Not a single villager has been damaged, killed, maimed, or wounded yet. Although I shouldn't say that. I said that for dramatic effect. There are a bunch of villagers here to the top right who have been wounded. And let's not ignore Mother Nature, whose rhinoceri, whatever the hell you say that. I should probably know how to say the plural of a rhinoceros. Did injure a few villagers. I always love to watch rhino pulls or elephant pulls, just because they move faster than boars and javelinas, so they do usually manage to close in on the hunters that are hunting them. Not everyone is as lucky as the Goths to have a +5 attack, I think, on their hunting, which makes them kill these wild animals ridiculously fast. Which is an underrated feature of the Goths, I feel like. When you're playing Goths, that basically means you need fewer villagers to hunt those massive animals. Oh, even the red villager here joining in on the fight, getting a few pokes at these skirmishers as they try to leave the base, but now aM.Nicov is going to try to viper this army in. It gets trapped. And a fantastic play there by our red Bengali, who now demolishes the last of the Malay expeditionary force, and the reinforcements thought they were going to go help. I guess, change their mind and now go back home. So Nicov, with a fancy little gate there, does saves himself for a bit more harassment. Good time for us to look at the bases. Both players very much ensconced in Feudal Age, very much trying to reach the resources needed to go up to the next stage. Looks like our Bengali will get there first. And if I remember to, I will look at where the 2 villagers that spawn for free from that town center go, as I hope I will see the scale mail armor improve to the next upgrade once Mr. Yo goes up as well. He's only 70 food or so away from clicking up, so not too far behind the Bengali. He is 2 villagers ahead. More and more small scale battles here in the center of the map as the players kind of trade out their old armies. You know, you buy your first car, it's not going to be a Maserati. It's probably going to be some lemon, some jalopy. And so as you grow older, as you mature and you go in life from your dark age to your feudal age, and then from your feudal teenage years to your castle age, let's call it early 20s, and you start making some money and you start, you know, living the life that you want for yourself, you do trade in your jalopy for something a little bit better. And then, man, oh man, when you hit Imperial Age, oh, then the Ferrari comes out. Anyway, not too sure where I was going with that analogy. We've got a blacksmith, a barracks, an archery range, and a market for our Malay. That looks like it's it. A blacksmith, no market, a stable instead, a barracks, and an archery range for our Bengali. So our Bengali still not really indicating to us what direction he wants to go. He's got 7 villagers on stone. Mr. Yo's got 8. So I'm assuming we're going to see castles fairly soon. And there's that Malay feature. If you didn't see it in action, Mr. Yo hits Castle Age ahead of his opponent, even though it is our Bengali who clicked up first. Now, if you're not familiar with how that feature of the Malay actually works, it just basically reduces the amount of time needed to go up to the next stage. The time doesn't count faster, but for example, whereas our Bengali needed the standard 160 seconds. Hey, wow. Did the skirmishers? Sorry, I was looking at the skirmishers here on the right, and I missed that kill, but now a scout closes in, spearman closes in on the scout. So we're in castle, but we're still fighting with Feudal Age armies. The way it works for the Malay, it just reduces the amount of time. So instead of 160 seconds needed to go up to the next age, in this case castle, he only needs 96. So that's 64 seconds, a minute less time to go up. As now, okay. I mean, I made a big stink about improving your life and all that crap at Castle Age. Looks like the players are very much happy to continue fighting with their Feudal Age army, although I see there is a Bengali Elephant Archer. There is a Malay castle going up at the forward position of our Malay base. A few scouts trying to bust in. They're not going to do nothing, but what they will do is see this castle go up, which is a pretty good amount of vision for them. Oh, look at that. Our Bengali turned around. It looks like he was retreating, so I felt free to pan to the next, to a different side of the map, but nah, he returns. But returns and overstays his welcome. What will die here first? Oh, the spearman gets shot in the back. And now if the skirmisher sticks around, he will see a town center going up from which villagers? To the south. He does not know that he is walking on a construction ground. He will in a second. So great placement by Nicov of this villager, as he himself has gone up to 2, 3 extra town centers. There's that elephant archer. And let's see what the skirmisher does. Okay, discovers a good, again, good placement here. But the Karambit's out. The skirmisher's not paying attention. Karambit, not the strongest unit in the game. 1 whack. 2 whacks. Base of a 7 attack. 0 melee armor of any kind. And 30 HP. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Monk's going to be in a bit of trouble. Let's see how Mr. Yo reacts. He reacts immediately and decides to delete. Ooh, should he have deleted that Karambit? I don't know, but 3 more are hot on the monk's tail. Even if it converts 1. I mean, these guys cost 15 gold. And so trading them out for a unit that costs 100 gold, you can convert them all the live long day. Although, you know what, to be honest, Mr. Yo not only gets the conversion, but he also got that delete on this unit. So 30 gold. And I believe 50 food in exchange for 100 gold. So a bad trade, but not the worst trade in the world. And this might be problematic for our Bengali. The Karambit allows you to have a lot of mobility. It's not exactly a super lightning fast unit, but it is a pretty damn quick infantry unit. at 1.32 tiles per second. So it does give Mr. Yo a lot of mobility, which is something our Bengali, if he's going elephants, not that you guys know, if this is not your first time watching me cast any civilization with elephants, you know I always want to see elephants. I just love the elephant units in this game. But I don't know that that's necessarily the direction our Bengali wants to go right now. Although, to be honest, a big old death ball of elephant archers with the Bengali, with all of their various features, with the pike upgrade, or is it pikes? I think it's pikes, sorry, with an S at the end, could be problematic for our Malay, whose units, again, have 30 HP and 3 pierce armor against... Okay, I mean, this elephant right now is completely unupgraded, attacks on a 6. The Karambits move in, they see the castle, so great vision out of both players right now. Another monk dies, but the castle's up, and all of a sudden, every volley from this castle should be able to kill a... Oh, they're getting picked off. They're getting picked off. Oh, no. That is a sour loss. He did manage to convert an elephant archer here who melts into the grass, and he's going Radas. Okay. So Nicov, I guess, agrees with my assessment that the most important thing for him right now is mobility to deal with the Karambits. The question is, are Radas the way to go for them, for the Bengalis? He's getting more and more of them. He's going up to 9. He's got 1 already in melee mode, which, by the way, is going to be fantastic since they do trample damage now. Another converted elephant. I mean, these Bengali elephants should not be this easy to convert. They are more resistant to conversion. So I'm not too sure how Mr. Yo is. He's just getting real lucky with the RNG right now with the random number generator. Let's see if he gets another one. That being said, these elephants are not upgraded at all. So by the time they close in on a monk and by the time they fire and then kill the monk, I can see why he's getting conversions. Our Bengali still on 3 town centers is ahead. 8 villagers. He's doubled the army count of his opponent. The town center is up. No villagers on that gold just yet. I like this castle. Maybe a little bit more forward to protect the stone as well. And now this very aggressive Malay siege workshop is being taken care of. But the Rata knows that there's a villager somewhere here building these outposts. He sees the second outpost, but Mr. Yo already a few steps ahead has absconded with that villager, and in come the Bengali monks. By the way, let's take a look at that armor upgrade. +3, +3. Oh, he caught him. He caught him. Nicov with the game sense. He's going toe-to-toe with Mr. Yo here. Through this Hakuna Matata field of ostriches, zebras, lions, a relic, gold, trees, and now Rata's in a villager. Oh, the lion. The lion turns on his former friend, bites the dust. Army count for our Malay is misleading because remember, with 15 Karambits, that really only counts for, what do we want to say, 7 or 8? Wait a second, why does it say 17 here? Why am I looking at 17 when there's 15 Karambits and 2 monks? That should be 10 or 9. Am I derping out? When I see things like this, it really makes me feel like I'm the one derping out. But I think, yeah, no, Karambits are... Yeah. I don't know. Possibly an issue with capture age. Let's see their area of effect range. Half a tile. They do 20% damage in there. And another monk bites the dust. Upgrades on the Karambits. +2 full armor upgrades. Mr. Yo is in Imperial. Nicov is still 2.5 minutes away, which means the first Trebs will belong to the Malay, who, by the way, for a second there had a converted... Where are you? He had a converted Ratha for a second. And I love moves like this. With only a few units, he's leading 7 entire military supply away from the battle. This is not walled in at all. There's a big opening here on the left side, and kind of looks like here as well, but no. The tree stump does count as a blocker. And Monsieur slams the north side of the base. He's aggressing in the center. He's aggressing to the north. He's trying to pull these Ratas away as much as possible. Obviously, you've got the weaker unit. You need to go mass with Karambits, and he's only got 13 of them. And again, I really do wonder why it says 18 army count. I mean, I know 5 and 2 and 13. I did watch Sesame Street growing up. That is 18, but that shouldn't be 18. Elite Karambit Warrior, Blast Furnace. So they're going to be fully upgraded Karambit Warriors for his part. Let's take a look at Nikov's upgrades. Not a single upgrade. Not a single freaking upgrade on these Radas. Remember, Pikes also does affect their firing speed. So they might want to get that Pikes upgrade, which I believe is a Castle Age upgrade. So he's had his castle up for a while. He does clean up Mysterio's Karambits. Man, oh man, if they get stuck doing this, attacking a wall off, they are not as useful as you'd like them to be. But with the armor, especially attacking these unupgraded Radas, are the Karambits standing toe-to-toe with the Rada? I mean, I hate to add wood to the fire of the hate of the Ratha unit, but if they're gonna go toe-to-toe with Karambits, they deserve all the hate in the world. Karambits should not be going to toe-to-toe with any unit, although in this case it's pretty much a matter of upgrades as those Karambits swarm over. Get the monks, and more Karambits are being trained by Mysterio. He's going up to the 32 of them right now. They are fully upgraded. The Radas, okay, we've got a +1 attack. We've got forging. He's got the wrong armor upgrade, I believe. He's got scale barding armor for his 7 light cavalry units. And now let's see, he's got to get rid of these Trebs because one of his castles has fallen. He now needs to get rid of these to secure his second and last castle, because if he stops training Radas, his army is donezo. Man, oh man, what an absolute just swarm. We saw Hera do this with freaking Andy when he was playing the Poles with Schlachta, and he was just swarming in those knights against those ballista elephants, and that's exactly what Mr. Yo is doing here. He's supply capped at 145. I mean, 1 second. 33 and 124 is 157. So this number is correct here on the right side, but this 33 is incorrect. It should be 15, and this should be 18. So even though this is incorrect, the final total population still is correct. And wow, Mr. Yo, with the endless reinforcements, I believe the fastest training unit in the game is the Karambit Warrior, and he's got 3 castles. Karambits, 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 just endlessly flowing across the map. And unlike the Ratha, which needs about, 17 upgrades to get it to full strength, the Karambit does not. The Karambit absolutely does not. And even though our Bengalis and Imperial, I don't see a single Imperial Age unit. I see a Castle Age Elephant Archer with no upgrades. I see a basic Rata with no upgrades, except as we saw forging. And wow, oh wow, it looks like he cleared up the attack to the north, but ultimately losing this battle here. His army count has been shattered down to 16. And this castle, he's got 19 stone. He's got 2,200 gold, which begs the question, why the hell don't you have any upgrades on your units? Why the hell don't you have more units? That's a very valid question. But the one question we don't need answering is why the tapping out, because Mr. Yo is just on a warpath with the surprisingly stronger unit. I mean, I really want to look at this. Even though these are in range mode, let's pick one who's in melee mode, just so we can make it a bit evener. So the Karambit attacks on a 12, the Rat on an 11. The Karambit's got 4 melee armor to the 2 of his opponent. But look, I mean, the HP is really the real story. So obviously the Karambit can't really go toe-to-toe with the Rata one-on-one, just because the Rata has triple the HP. But they're not going toe-to-toe one-on-one. They are outnumbering you 30-8. 30-13 even, let's call it. Which, when you have no upgrades, is just about as bad as you can get. And running out of stone means this castle is dead. And once this castle is dead, it means no more Ratas. I stuttered there for a second thinking, you know, is that really such a bad thing to have to pivot to another unit? He lost all his light cav, and light cav's about as good as it gets for the Bengalis. They do not get hussars. He's got 2 archery ranges, so the infrastructure is not there. He's got enough wood to build new infrastructure, But at the end of the day, did Nicov just go way too heavy on the villagers? 152 villagers. That is the kind of build when you are building siege onagers, fully upgraded paladins, fully upgraded elephant archers, maybe fully upgraded radas, maybe. That is not the villager count that you want to have when you're working with a castle age army in Imperial. And by the way, a castle age army with no upgrades. I don't think he got pikes, which means these guys are not optimized at all. These are not elite. These are not elite. And what was happening here? A Karambit discovers, did he get any kills? It looks like he just got that one villager here. And Mr. Yo with the reinforcement here in the battle to the center destroys Nikov's entire army. And even though it looked like Nicov was taking a pretty good engage, a lot of times he was on the high ground here as well. Just the 3 castles endlessly streaming the Karambits, the villagers repairing the Trebs, and the lack of any kind of ability to defend against this push, even though, again, you're dealing with one of the weakest units in the game, literally a unit designed to be massed, and that's it. Quantity over quality, and unfortunately, Nicov, even though he's got the resources for a few upgrades, I mean, you can buy food, not ideal, but you can definitely buy food and upgrade your units that way. He just does not have the military to deal with the current threat. He doesn't have the infrastructure to deal with the current threat. And he's about to lose the only relevant military structure he has, which is the only structure that can train his only unit, which is the Rata, which attacks on a 5 against the Karambit's 5 pierce armor. So this unit literally does 1 damage. This might as well be a Huskarl to Nicov, because I don't think these guys come with any kind of attack bonus at all. No, they don't. So let's take a look at the stats, because Mr. Yo here just hitting all the right notes, and Nicov unfortunately does not have the capacity or the ability to defend against what's coming. 34 Ratas, 125 Karambits, PKPM, not bad APM actually for Nicov towards the, actually right at the end of the game. Mr. Yo, is it right at the beginning? No, interesting. At the 11-minute mark. Economies, I can't see them, being too different. They for a while, one was ahead, then the other was ahead. It looks like wood and gold for our Bengali, which, I mean, that just explains the Ratas, right? Wood and gold. And then food and stone. Food explains the Karambit, castles for Mr. Yo. So, I mean, I'm really trying to see where there's such a bad allocation. It looks like both of them allocated their economies quite well. Wood and gold for our Ratas, food and gold for our Karambits. So I think it was just a matter of not enough infrastructure for our Bengali. 7 conversions to 5. 7 out of 89 is not bad. What is that, like? Oh my goodness, 12%? No, I'm an idiot. It's 7 out of 142. My bad. It's 5% conversion here. 5 out of 90 or so is also not bad at all. About 5%. Kills 117 to 73. Let's see. Yeah, villager kills are not indicative here of the game. I think at the end of the day, Nicov just didn't have the ability. Rather, let me put it this way. I'm going to stop stuttering here. Nicov did not have the time to pivot his economy. Before this battle happened, he should have known that his unupgraded units were not going to do as well as they could, because these pro players, one thing they do amazingly well is know what the other player has when they engage into their line of sight. And so when Nicov sees this, you know he's going to click on one of these Karambits. He's going to see, he's going to hover over this unit like an invisible angel and watch it and see that he has a +4 attack and fully upgraded armor. And so at that very moment, with his 1200 wood, he should have absolutely plopped down a few more archery ranges, at least the elephants who attack on a base of a 6 and therefore do 1 damage also. Just 1 damage. At least they have the HP 250 to withstand the Karambit onslaught. Whereas these Ratas, 125 is half the HP of the elephant archers. And yeah, sure, elephants not exactly... the economy is not exactly set up at the moment to get elephants, but Nicov just does not have the time to pivot right now. The castle's down, and once this bad boy falls, the entire center is open. In fact, the entire base is open. He's lost his 1 mining villager over here. He knows the stone is being taken by Mr. Yo, who is, by the way, still has room if he caps out another 55 supply with karambits, he has room for another 110 karambits. And Nicov is nowhere close to getting Mahayana here, especially if that castle falls, and then he needs to research Mahayana as the upgrade that makes his villagers count for only 10%. Actually, you know what? Never mind. He does have the resources for Mahayana. Why did I think it was food? Some of these resources always confuse me. Why does Mahayana cost wood if it's a human-related upgrade, right? You would think it would cost food, but you save the food, then you can start training more villagers, I guess? In any event, doesn't really matter. Mr. Yo with the endless reinforcement of karambits, the never-ending stream, and more importantly, the upgrades on the karambits just overwhelms Nikov's basic army here, not upgraded at all. It looks like, where, by the way, the hell are these 8 melee? Oh, they're still up here. Oh, man, and they're also out of position. I mean, they do have a +1. They do have forging, but that is nowhere close to where they need to be to take on these karambits in these numbers. And again, Mr. Yo can add 110 more after this. So he is in no risk of running short on these super cheap and now super powerful units. He's also going to get the gold over here anytime in any... Yeah, he sees it. Of course he does, with that ridiculous vision of the Treb. And with this never-ending and replenishing army of Mr. Yo's, Mr. Yo is victorious, but GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.